Hello everyone, and good morning, and welcome to our Searchmetrics webinar. Today, it's me, Felix, SEO Consultant in Searchmetrics, and we have a special guest joining us today, Lukasz, who's SEO Expert and Consultant. So
Hello.
Our webinar topic today is SEO tactics to implement tonight. So today we'll focus on latest tactics that could immediately boost your SEO performance, and we learn how to leverage your low-hanging fruits basically within your limited resources to pick up those and turn those to the biggest benefits to your SEO performance. So without further ado, I give a stage now to Lukasz. Lukasz?
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, honor, and privilege to be today with you guys. I don't even remember when was the first time I started using Searchmetrics. I think that was somewhere in 2010 when I was working in HomeAway. So it was very, very long time ago. And yeah, I just really liked how it works. So guys, yeah, it's great to be here with you. I bet most of our listeners, attendees, is Searchmetrics users. And if you are not, then you should be one. And I have 92 slides, so it will be a little intense. But yeah, I hope that you will find this useful. My main point is that I want to share with you something that, first of all, you will maybe not immediately find online. Second of all, that is something that is relatively new. And the third thing is that it's easy to implement. So you know, it's not something that I will start from, oh, you need to have a couple of £1,000 for this or that, and so on and so on. No, like simple things that really can impact your performance, performance of your website, and how the traffic is going there. So if we are right, then I will probably start. So push to audience. And yes, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Perfect. So my name is Lukasz Zelezny. I'm living in London for the last 15 years. I was working in various companies as an in-house exec, then manager, then head of SEO, then finally director. And last October, pretty much almost a year ago, I decided to switch into my own thing. So I become an independent consultant. And from this little room, I'm doing pretty much most of the time SEO, and sometimes I'm leaving this room when I'm going for a conference. So if any of you will be in Brighton SEO, I hope we can have a chat there. So the first tactic I wanted to talk about is finding low-hanging fruits with Search Console. Now, obviously, you know, Search Console, we know what Search Console is doing. Amazing tool, especially when we're living in this new Search Console world, new era. After many years, Google decided to launch a new one. And it's great, but it's limited. So you can see here we have some keywords, and unfortunately, when you're exporting this straight from the Search Console, then you will get only 999 rows. Moreover, this export is incompleted. Very often you are missing either URLs, or sometimes you're missing some keywords that may be valuable, and so on and so on and so on. So export is limited, but then you can do a simple trick, and you can combine another tool that is free. This tool is called Data Studio. I have no doubts that some of our attendees already have fallen in love to Data Studio. Some of you may not. I think for me, beginning was quite tough. I was working with Tableau, and Tableau is a little more complicated, a little less intuitive. And then switching to Search Console was a bit difficult because I learned Tableau and then I had to learn Search Console. Very powerful, but you just need to start. And I will show you one kind of simple tactic that I'm using. So first of all, low-hanging fruits. So I want to see where I'm ranking already, and I just want to try to push these keywords up. So this is always where I'm starting working with my customers. So my customers are coming to me and saying like, Lukasz, you know, I would like to rank higher on these keywords. I'm like, hold on, hold your horses. Let me see where you're ranking already. Let me see what keywords already are delivering you valuable traffic and how we can scale up and how we can push them up. So first of all, you need to connect Google Data Studio with Search Console. You just need to choose the connector. And then for this example, I have here Zelezny.uk. Zelezny.uk is one of my websites. I have a relatively small website, but this is good for this example. First of all, you can see here that you have lots of properties on this screenshot. Why? Because I am a bit nerdy, crazy, if you want to call me like that, about data, and I like to have a full view. So I'm very often adding slices of the website. Let me go into different example. When I was working in Uswitch, which is price comparison website, we had products like credit cards, broadband, mobiles, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, and everything was sitting in the main folder, yes? So /credit card, /broadband, /mobiles. And every section like that was a separate property in Google Search Console. Thanks to that, we not only had a better granularity, but also if, for example, there would be something with indexation, we've been able quickly to identify which product is suffering or which product is not performing the way it should, rather than digging through the whole website. So remember, if you have different products or different categories on your e-commerce, you can always add separate properties into Search Console. The earliest, the better. And on this screen, you can see that through APIs, you can connect your Search Console to Data Studio, and you have lots of metrics and dimensions that you normally know from the Search Console natively, but here you will get much deeper view, which I will show you in a second. So you giving a permission, and now we need to create a simple table, and that can be a first exercise for you to connect Data Studio with Search Console. So we're creating table, and we adding following metrics like query, clicks, site click-through rate, impressions, average position, for example. And take a look what's going on here. I have some kind of like a table which you may know from Excel. It looks very similar like from Excel, but there is a significant difference. On the bottom, there is 5,169 keywords or rows versus 999 I showed you a couple of slides ago. So you can see that the data is much more complete here. And you can export this to Excel as a CSV, and you have pretty much almost everything you need to have. And then you can either add URLs, or you can scrape with, like I'm using AccuRanker, and I'm scraping URLs, and I will get what URLs each keyword triggers. So what are this kind of connections, yeah? Every time we're talking about keyword and ranking, we always need to remember about URL or corresponding page. And I have all of these URLs scraped, and now I'm going back to Excel, and I can start identifying up to 5 keywords per URL, and I can start doing a simple optimization. And why this is so important? Mainly because you're attacking different part of the website. 1, 2, 5 products may be too competitive, and you will not be able to push traffic up. You may not be able that simple push positions up, make more exposition, but other pages, other products may start performing, and that way you will start generating revenue, incremental revenue. And then creme de la creme of Excel, pivot table. I love pivot table the most. And again, what you can see here on this screenshot, it is like you have a URL, and then inside you have a keyword. So for me, when I'm working as an SEO consultant, a primary is a URL. then I'm thinking about keywords. Never like first keywords and then URL. URL is the most important. That's the content, that's the website. And that was Search Console, but then you can go and do a snapshot, which is similar way, with a tool that probably you know. It's a Searchmetrics. So I mentioned USwitch. That was a company I was working before. And here you can see keywords that we have exported from USwitch. And imagine this scenario that I'm joining USwitch. Let's say we are again in 2012 when I joined USwitch. And I really wanted to prove that, yes, I can deliver. I can show you the beautiful world of SEO. So again, I can export. But first of all, before I will start exporting, I will start filtering. Searchmetrics allowed you to filter. And what I can do, I can say, show me only these keywords, which are ranking between position 2 and 10. So on the first page, not first, second, third, fourth, and so on, up to 10. And search volume is 1,000 to 20,000. So not the smallest keywords and not, for example, third-party brand like other companies' brand when the search volume is extremely high. And I have this slide, which is showing, like you see, best SIM only deals, loans but credit, iPhone 5s Gold, energy comparison, live mobile. You can see that every keyword is from different product. And most of these keywords you see here are a generic keywords. And they are ranking in top 10. So they are already delivering traffic. And we need to now start optimizing your website just to deliver a little more. And the whole secret behind this method is that you should not think about today I will optimize 3 keywords and next week I will optimize 3 keywords or 3 pages. You need to optimize 20 a day, 100 a week, and 400 a month. And repeat that over and over and over, and you will see definitely the incremental growth very fast. Now, here you can see something that I call simplified organic distribution model, click-through rate organic distribution model. And again, I know that this is simplified. Some of you may challenge me very quickly and say, like, Lukasz, I don't believe that when you are on position 1, you have 18% of click-through rate. This is not about exact numbers. It's just to visualize what is the difference between being first, second, and then being 7th, 8th, or 9th. You can see that this chart is very kind of like flat when you going to position 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so on. So you're fighting really about position 3 to ideally position 1. So simple math. We have a keyword which is here. It's called best SIM only deals, and it has 18,400. I cannot see correctly, but it's probably 18,841 searches a month. And I can do a simple math, and I can try to use this model to estimate how much the traffic incrementally grow when I will go from position 2, where I am right now, to position 1, when I would like to be. And you can see here, on position 2, we have 10% click-through rate on this curve. Multiplying by 18,841, we have, let's say, 1,893 visits. Then when we are on position 1 for a month, we will have 3,294 visits. The improvement is almost doubled. 1,400 extra visits, and this is only one keyword. If you would repeat this over and over and over and over, then this is like a win-win situation. So how I'm building a spreadsheet. Here's how I'm calculating something what I call traffic index. It's very similar metric to what Searchmetrics is doing as a search visibility. Obviously, my metric is not as sophisticated as Searchmetrics. That's why you probably should use Searchmetrics if you are not using. But I wanted to share with you my concept. So I have 3 metrics: TI, TI max, and TI diff. TI is a current situation. Search volume multiplied by click-through rate of position. And we're only calculating this for keywords between position 2 and 10, because, you know, some people are saying, like, if you kill someone, then the page 2 on the Google is the best place to hide the body. Nobody is looking there on the page 2. Now, TI max is SEO utopia, when you would be on the position 1. And TI diff is a difference between now and utopia. And you can see this little cute small table in the right side of the slide. This is exactly what you saw on the chart, on this chart with distribution model. I just wrote these numbers, and right now I'm going into table, and you can see I love colors. I love colors. I can visually see that what's going on here, and you can see that I can either sort by search volume, or I can sort by the left, the really right side of the table, which is TI diff, traffic index difference. And when I'm doing this, I can say, like, okay, Nokia phones, compare mortgage, cheap loans, cheap insurance, and so on and so on and so on. That's our keywords if I would be once again in usage. And some people may say, like, what, Nokia phones? Yes, people are looking for Nokia phones. What we're thinking is different very often than what data is saying. And you can see the difference between sorting this by search volume and by traffic index difference. And I know that, you know, we have only an hour, so here is zelezny.uk, not Zelensky, not Zelensky, Zelezny. Take an iPhone and take a photo, /snapshot. And if you go there, I prepared for you a document that you can download. I think, if I remember correctly, it's for Pimlico Plumbers. It's a very big plumbing company in London. And you can see how this traffic index differences is done. And then optimization process, the old, good, on-page SEO we know, title tag modification, strong, alt tag, image file name. Make sure that your images are, the file names are keyword rich. Don't use this 1235xyz.jpg. Put some keywords there, especially if that keyword corresponds with what is on the picture. Additional paragraph of text. Make sure that you have keyword rich H1, H2, H3, and then internal links with keyword rich anchor. And when to use this method? When you're starting working on organic performance, when you're joining the organization. For website with established history, this is not for a new website. This is not for the website that's been launched yesterday. And when you need to quickly prove that the SEO is working, when you have a situation that client is saying that, yeah, we had like 2 guys before and they been not able to deliver, and you are like, hold on, give me a moment, and you start with implementation. Conclusion, dealing with keywords that already rank, that's always good. You're leveraging quality traffic. This keyword's already delivering traffic, and you're just helping them to deliver a bit more traffic. You're utilizing multiple of URLs. You're playing a search engine game. You're using like Google as your advisor. You're saying like, hey, Google, show me where this keywords, what keywords are delivering traffic already, and I will just try to push them up. And you're delivering quick results. I don't have the slide here, but there is a software called Keyword Hero, and Keyword Hero is absolutely phenomenal software that can sort out not provided issue. So it's marrying data from Search Console with data from Google Analytics, and you can see, for example, in e-commerce, what keywords not only delivering traffic, but also, because you can see this from Search Console, but in Analytics you can see much deeper. What is the bounce rate? What is the time on page? What the revenue these keywords are generating? And then you can prioritize this even deeper. Tactic 2. Link building through brand tracking. So there is a couple of brand trackers that are available at the moment, like Talkwalker, Brand24, Freshweb Explorer, Google Alerts. And, you know, some of them are more, some of them are less expensive. I wanted to talk about Brand24. So the story is that my name is Lukasz Zelezny, and, you know, Polish name, Czech surname, living in UK, what could go wrong? Everything. I was always Zelensky, Zeleny, and so on and so on. But then I realized that when you have a that unusual name and surname, then actually you can use this as a brand, a personal brand, and track this. What are the mentions? And I started tracking. And here is the first example is for uswitch, yeah? So uswitch is the same, kind of like Lukasz Zelezny, yeah? So uswitch is non-generic word, yeah? So everything what is non-generic word, like Yahoo, like for example, Kia, like Google, yeah? Then it's non-generic word. We know when someone typed Google or wrote Google somewhere, then it's talking about that specific company. The challenge is when your company is called booking.com, yeah? Because every time there is word booking, it will be considered as a brand mention, when we know that this is not always true. Or cheap holidays, yeah? And you know, I built a project and I started tracking this, and I could see like there was lots of mentions, like here, stay on top, your work with Lukasz Zelezny podcast, and here is a piece of the screenshot, and I could see that here is, you know, mentioned another Wednesday, and so on and so on and so on, and there was like uswitch.com, and that wasn't a link. So I could approach these people and say like, hey, thank you for mentioning company I'm working for. Maybe you could make this a link to uswitch.com. Or I was approaching some other website and saying like, hey, you mentioned my name and surname, and a chance you can link to my website on my name and surname. Most of the time, the website owners are okay. You can even see more than that. You can see what social media influencers, what social media account are influential to your account. But obviously we are talking about SEO, so we will not be covering that topic. Worth to check, Brand24. And then, you know, my name, like again, Lukasz Zelezny, with space, without space, with crazy Polish character, without crazy Polish character. And, you know, I could see this. I could see that there is plenty of mentions that I can approach each by each and ask website owners to make this mention a link. Absolutely fantastic opportunity to build almost organically backlinks. And you can see like that I could also see like, okay, where there was like a video on YouTube, what tweets are there. I have on my mobile, Brand24 binned with Slack. So every time there is a mention, I'm getting alert on Slack. I have a special channel and there everything is there. So it works really well. And here is an example which really shocked me initially, a website written in Russian. And I don't read Russian. I can speak Russian quite okay. I mean, I understand Russian. You know, Polish and Russians are quite similar languages. And I was like, hold on, what's going on here? And then I noticed that on the bottom, there is like Lukasz Zelezny, the name and surname was written in Latin alphabet, and that been catched. And I was like, oh, wow. Approach them and say like, hey, thank you very much for mentioning me. Can you add the link? And then the link was added. Next tactic, topic research with social media help. So there is a software called BuzzSumo. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. And how I'm using BuzzSumo. So first of all, if you're doing a research about topic, it's good to go to BuzzSumo and type keywords like, for example, property in London or properties in London. I was working also in Zoopla, and Zoopla is one of the biggest property portal in UK. So I could write properties in London and I could see what are the most kind of viral topics that are being shared on social media. And very important thing is that you should not look on the Facebook engagement, you should rather look on Twitter engagement. Why? Facebook engagement sometimes can be inflated because of the paid advertising. And as you know, nobody advertises on Twitter, almost nobody. So most of these shares are absolutely organic. And you see that, okay, there is a big number of shares on that topic or on that topic, and you can get some kind of ideas on why this topic is more catchy than other. And here is like 6 factors influencing UK property market in 2018. We are close to 2020. When this post was published, it was December 2017, 26th of December, Boxing Day, second day of Christmas. So what that tells me, first of all, I should read that article. Second of all, I can see that there was 497 engagements on Twitter and 666 on Facebook. And I should read it. I should try to understand what makes people so excited about this. And potentially, when there will be December, maybe not 26th, but maybe like 15th, December 2019, I could write 6 factors influencing the UK property market in 2020. So here is the article, 6 factors influencing property market in 2018, and I can read this, I can try to understand this. So as a conclusion, it's always good to research that topic, looking on social media and then jumping into keywords, optimization, yada, yada, yada. But first, try to understand why people are excited about topic and what make this. It's not a simple process. It's not like, easily, there is not like a one algorithm. It's a bit creative process, but it's very useful. Next tactic, hashtag tracking to find PR linked opportunities. And I will give you an example from UK. There is this platform called If This Then That. It's like something similar to Zapier. Zapier is more popular. If This Then That may be less, but it's free. And there are 2 holy grail hashtags in UK. One is journal request, the other one is PR request. And here you can see I just created a recipe. If this then that means if something happened, then do something. If new tweet from search for journal request social, then send an email to Lukasz Zelezny UK. So if there will be any tweet with word journal request and word social, I presume that it can be about social media, I will get an alert. And I can jump and I can say like, oh, here is a journalist that is writing about something about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on and so on. And I can try to give some comment. I can try to give some bits and bobs from myself. If new tweet from search for journal request marketing, then send me an email to Lukasz Zelezny UK. So again, journal request. A journalist wrote some tweet. I'm looking for people who are working in marketing to give a comment about recent Google algorithm update. Hash journal request, hash PR request. And then finally, if new tweet from a search for journal request Polish, minus nail. So I don't want to get tweets about polishing nails because I know very little to nothing about polishing nails. I was born in Poland, so I'm Polish. Yeah? So you can quite clever play with the operators the same way you would do in the Google search. And you can configure the email, how email should be constructed. So in the title, you're getting the topic of the email, you're getting the username, and in the article, you're getting in the body of the email, you're getting user again. And this is an example of one email I received. Ribbon Fish Team. And the tweet was, how can publishers do marketing better? And there was hash journal request, hash PR request. You can see here, this is the screen. I don't screen with my mobile like we would do screenshots in 1983. But like Ribbon Fish Team, how can publishers do marketing better? Expert needed to comment for an article and ebook. Hash PR request, hash journal request. And you can jump there and say, hey, Ribbon Fish Team, I can give you some, can I give you some thoughts? Can I share some thoughts? Why not? Obviously, if they will not be happy, there is not like 100% guarantee, but if they will be, most likely they will be happy that they will get someone who is working in marketing to give them comment. And this is how the tweet looks like. Then we have another tactic, that is boosting your WordPress. I have no doubts that lots of people that are listening to us is WordPress fans using WordPress. I think right now almost 30% of all websites that are out there online are based on WordPress. WordPress is behind them. WordPress may not be perfect, but WordPress is almost perfect, I would say. And I wanted to share with you a couple of plugins that you should consider to install when you want to do a little growth hacking. I don't like this buzzword, but maybe that's a good word to say. So first is OneSignal, free web push notifications. And you know, this little pop-up to subscribe when you're going on some websites. You don't get email to the person that subscribe to your website, but you can still send him, her a message. So how is it working? Here are two screenshots from two websites I have, socialmedia.pl and zelezny.uk. You can see that every day I have more and more subscribers. And this works very, very easy. onesignal.com. You're going to onesignal.com, you're creating an account, you're going to your WordPress, you're installing OneSignal plugin, and then you're just adding API key, and that works. Your website needs to be on SSL, HTTPS. Obviously, without that, it's quite difficult to make it work. And then whenever you're posting, for example, a blog post, there will be tick, send notification on post update. And I have here a screenshot from Social Media PL. Whenever I just posted a new article, there was this little pop-up giving notification to all my subscribers that there is a new article on my blog. And when you have a couple of thousand of them, that's very valuable because you can clearly see that you have extra boost in traffic once you publish new blog post. Moreover, you can add UTM tags, to track via Google Analytics that campaign. And I would suggest that every time you posting new article, then the link contain new different UTMs. Another one is WPA SEO Autolinker, a very useful plugin. It helps you to keep internal link consistently. So take a look. You just need to say, okay, Twitter, always link to that URL. Facebook, always link to that URL. And every time there is word Twitter across your whole website, there will be a link to that specific page. Every time there is word Facebook, there will be a link to a specific page. Where you can get this pairs of keywords and URLs from? For example, from Searchmetrics or from Search Console. Or you can combine both. And you can see here, these articles are in Polish actually, but you can see that word Twitter and Facebook automatically been linked, converted into internal link. You can also make a very useful thing and use this WPA autolinker for your affiliate links. So every time there is, let's say, a Searchmetrics, then that word will be linked to the affiliate program and so on and so on and so on. Images. It's very important to make sure that images are properly compressed. There are two plugins. One is a Smoosh image compressor. The other one is Short Pixel. You can test both. Smoosh is very efficient. Free version also allowed you to pretty much compress all the images. It takes time because there is no by bulk. You need to repeat that process after 50 images, but you can in reasonable time compress all your images, and you know that your website is faster. And the way how fast website loading is one of the critical factor how your website is ranking. And another one is a Gonzalez, like Speedy Gonzalez plugin. This is a very useful plugin that helps you to make sure that you're increasing your page speed and YSlow, as well as pingdom score. So you can go to GTmetrix, check your score, install Gonzalez, and recheck your score. You will definitely see improvement. Then next one is Auto-Optimize. Auto-Optimize is like a creme de la creme, super exciting plugin that will help you to compress your JavaScript and CSS. So you just can tick and you can forget about the rest. And then appending on copy. If someone will highlight text from your website, press right mouse, copy this, post somewhere else, the link to the original source, your website will be added automatically. And the last one, a bit controversial, 404 to 301. Some people like this, some people don't. I prefer you would test this. So sometimes when you're doing migration from one domain to other, or you're merging two websites, 404, so all the non-existing URLs will be 301 somewhere where you will decide this to be redirected. And the last part I wanted to say in this webinar is cloud. So cloud, aka hosting provider, or wherever your website physically is allocated. Do not try to cut corners here, because these days a reliable hosting provider and the speed of this hosting is critical for your rankings. I am using SiteGround, and I'm saying this impartially. There is no link to affiliate, nothing like that. And why I'm using, because, for example, they have 3 levels of cache: static, dynamic, and memcache. Where you can see that I was doing some tests. This is a screenshot from GTmetrix, and you can see that initially website was DD, so pretty close to F, which is the worst that could happen. Fully loaded in 8.4 seconds, so pretty slow. There is a red mark. The total page size is not that bad, but number of requests is quite high. And then when I turned on caching system, I could see that the number of requests didn't change that much. The total page size didn't change that much. The score didn't change that much, but the time of load improved significantly. So at least one thing you could tick. The other things, for example, you could tick with Smoosh image compressor and so on, Auto-Optimize and so on and so on. And the second example, even more dramatic, E and D, and after 8.7 seconds, and then after enabling this caching system, the page load time dropped to 3.4, so dropped by 50%. And you can see that again, total page size and number of requests stays the same. And now results. Why I'm saying about this? Because it's always the best to see smile on the customer face or on your line manager and so on and so on. And here is one of the example of the website that started performing fantastically. That is a screenshot from 2016. And here is a website that been performing very well without this kind of dramatic jumps, but like, I call this Apple stock chart, successively up and up and up and up. So that was pretty much what I had for today. This is the slide number 91, and this is the slide number 92, which is a thank you. I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful that I could be with you today. And you can find me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on the website called SEO.London. And I think that right now would be the good moment for questions. If anyone have some questions, please let me know.
Thank you again, Lukasz, for showing us a lot of things that might be missed by a lot of us SEOs, that we only sometimes look at the normal KPIs that we have, and you show us that there's so many additional things that we can look at that could really leverage your current performance in a way that all of the data is there already. Just don't never take on it. And as Lukasz showed here, there's a lot of potential you can leverage by doing that.
Absolutely.
So now let's jump into some questions that we have. First questions from Robert. would you be kind to show some previous tools? So don't worry, Robert, that we'll upload this video later in a couple of days. Maybe that you can, for all of you that are still missing this webinar, you can share it with your friends and colleagues that we can, can all of us go through the tools that Lukasz showed today. Second questions related to CTR. So is there any big difference between branded and non-branded CTR for keywords?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Very good question. So if you looking on the website that is there and you can identify brand queries. So for example, we are here, I'm here a guest of Searchmetrics. So when I would have an access to Search Console of Searchmetrics, I would easily be able to identify brand as search space metrics or Searchmetrics, or for example, searchmetrics.com. Now, when you look on all the keywords that contain word Searchmetrics, that pool of keyword is a brand keyword, branded keyword. Everything else that does not contain Searchmetrics or search space metrics is generic or non-brand keyword. And the difference is that if you look on the pool of all the branded keywords, because there can be like thousands of keywords, where can I buy Searchmetrics? How much Searchmetrics cost? Is Searchmetrics good? Of course it is, but I'm just giving you examples. Now, when you're looking on impressions and clicks, because these two factors are saying what is the click-through rate, you will see that often there is, for brand keywords, relatively low number of impressions and very high number of clicks. So let's say click-through rate can be 30%. So every third time someone is typing Searchmetrics will end up with clicks. Sometimes it's 50%, sometimes even higher. It can be 80%. For generic keywords, you will see opposite way. Extremely high number of impressions and relatively low number of clicks. And click-through rate will be like 3%, 4%, maybe 5%. Sometimes it can be even 10%. Very often it will be below 1%. So if you have an access to Search Console of any website that have non-generic brand keyword, go and try to filter and see what are the, and you can use pen and paper and write down what is the in 1 month number of impressions versus number of clicks, and then divide clicks by impressions, and then go to non-branded, then go to generic keywords and do the same test, check what is the number of impressions and what is the number of clicks. You will see a massive disproportion. But obviously, I can add one more thing. Why we not considering that? Why we not talking that much about brand keywords? Because they most likely are ranking on position 1. So we're not doing much with them. We just need to make sure that we secure them.
So especially if you find that your brand keyword hasn't ranked position 1, that should be the first thing you tackle, right?
Exactly.
So next question, still related to this brand, non-brand. If you have aggregated website that's dealing with multiple brands within the website itself, is there any way to simplify the process of filtering these brands, like in a bulk?
Can you repeat the first part?
If you're aggregated website that pulls a lot of brands within your website, classifieds, for instance, and you want to find kind of a CTR for each brand, is there any way besides pen and paper, as you mentioned, that could speed up this process?
Yeah, absolutely. I would start from URLs, and I would try to identify what brands we have. Yeah, and then you can try to do, for example, VLOOKUP, or you can do a find in Excel, and you can kind of semi-automate this process. It's not that easy, but obviously I think you can find the way not to go one by one and looking for what is there as a brand of some other companies. So I understand that this situation would be there if you would be talking about voucher codes, websites, and so on and so on. However, in many cases, if you have that many brands, and we're talking about voucher codes, or you have, let's say, a big car salon, and you're talking about Ford, Audi, BMW, and so on and so on, you're kind of treating these keywords as your generic keywords because this is not your brand. So obviously, you know, this click-through rate will anyway be quite low, because when someone is typing BMW, very likely he or she is looking for a BMW website. If they're looking for, let's say, buy used BMW, then maybe you will have a better click-through rate. There is no one method. You probably would need to play a bit with this data and start from sorting, looking at these keywords which have maybe very high repetitive words like BMW, what is, like, which model of BMW should I buy, which model of BMW is the most efficient, and so on and so on. Unfortunately, you know, this is quite complicated to explain in like few minutes. I would start from Excel, and I would start from digging through this.
Definitely. And I think last questions regarding prioritization. So you show us a lot of tools and a lot of data, and if we, let's say, do all of this, and how do you in the end prioritize which things you will look first or prioritize first in terms of action points?
I think definitely the first is a snapshot. So the first the start of the presentation, when I was covering that, is something that I would say works for me the best. So snapshot through Search Console or through Searchmetrics or through other tools, that would be the best way to start, and then backlinks, and then keyword research, and so on and so on.
Okay, so to first project all the potential that you have in the website, visualize the gap, then based on that you basically.
Exactly. Very good question.
Yeah, I think we don't have any more questions so far. So thank you again, Lukasz, for having the time today to show us a lot of like cool things that hopefully all of us can really benefit in terms of SEO performance. And if you have any further questions later, feel free to come to us, and please share the webinars for the colleagues or friends that hasn't able to join today with us. And I wish you then a really nice day and nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for having me. I also would like to wish you all good rest of the day. Like I said, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on SEO.London. If you have any questions, just drop me email, drop me a message. And yeah, let's stay in touch.